already, I think.
So this was the main room you were saying.
This used to be before we got the recording studio.
Yeah. And then now that's kind of moved over to the hub.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, perfect way to start.
Strong start. Ooh.
Hell yeah. So we are at the Sauce Spot Studios.
Yes,
hurting.
sir.
We're hurting right now. And I'm a sissy.
What's
You are
happening?
Risko.
I'm Risko. What's going on?
So I have some, basic questions. This is just for us to get to know you, for me to get to know you. Really, that's why I kind of wanted to start the Diverse Project. Is like we had so many dope artists come through, but like they perform songs for us, but we weren't getting to know them, getting to know their story.
Right.
So that's kind of why we started this, and I'm excited to see where it goes. This
Hell yeah.
being the first one, we're kicking it off strong.
Oh, this is the first one?
This is the first one.
Dope.
Yeah. And then we'll be doing it at different venues throughout the coast. Whoever taps in and is willing to get down with us.
I love the idea. Yeah.
It's going to be dope, man. So the first question I can remember on my list I have for you is, what's your real name?
Richard Loffman is my government name. I go by Rick.
Richard.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Dope. And then Rick, of course. And then your artist name.
Risko. Yeah.
Risko. Okay, dope. Perfect. Okay, now let me go back to my questions because that's the only two I remember. That's lyrics. Okay, dope. When you started making music, I want to know when, and the hardware of kind of how you started, that being instruments or computer or whatever.
Word. Yeah, I started making music in high school. He used to kind of just mess around, like freestyle, even just like rap along the songs that me and my best friend at the time were into. But I started writing, I think, junior year of high school. I wanted to start writing a little, a little earlier, but I didn't really have much to say, and I didn't really, my mind was a little bit ahead of my abilities as far as being able to put together a verse and all that. But yeah, junior year, I think between junior and senior year of high school, my oldest brother, Pat, who's just always been really good with computers and pretty knowledgeable, kind of all around and a lot of technical stuff. He kind of got me dialed in with what I needed to get. So he had like this PC that he had repaired that he let me have. And he's like, you need to get a sound card. And he's like, get a MIDI keyboard so you can make beats. So I used Fruity Loops. And I think I was recording with Audacity at first, the software
Really?
Audacity.
Yeah.
So making beats in Fruity Loops, just some terrible beats I was making. Didn't really have it.
We all go through that, I feel like, you know what I mean?
Just total trial and error. I had not a whole lot of guidance, but like my brother was pretty big on helping me at least get plugged in and start making noise,
Yeah.
And then I started ripping beats off YouTube pretty quickly because my production was not quite up to snuff.
Yeah.
But that's how it started. Yeah, Audacity and Fruity Loops.
See, that's crazy to me. Like the homie ABG, he still uses Audacity. He only uses Audacity for everything. And I was like, how do you do what you need to do? Like it's so bare bones. You know what I mean?
You get comfortable with a tool, and you know it in and out. And sometimes the simplicity can kind of streamline the workflow.
You're right. It makes the magic.
Yeah.
It makes it. Because I watch him work and it's like, what the? How are you doing this? And it sounds great. Like it sounds, ABG's on it.
That's like me now. Like I still use my trackpad a lot on my Mac.
Oh, really?
So I'll be in there doing deep editing and Pro Tools and stuff, and dudes will be like, why don't you use a mouse and a keyboard? I'm like, I don't know, something about it's right there.
Yeah, you know it.
Yeah,
it's familiar. For sure. Hell yeah. That was perfect. That was dope.
A lot of muscle memory.
Yeah, for sure. It becomes ingrained after a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some inspirations in hip hop that you hold dear?
Yeah, kind of a lot from a lot of different eras, but I think whenever I think about this, I always come back to the kind of Dilla being a primary one, just because at a time when I was like a pretty formative time for me as a lyricist, his beats and just the aesthetic across his catalog is something that I can go to anytime, and it'll always spark some something in me lyrically, and so yeah, I just love his whole catalog really. And but from an MC standpoint, definitely like Master Ace.
Ooh.
I like the simplicity and like just kind of direct style that he has. You know, old school, but somebody who's been able to stick around.
Yeah.
So definitely Ace. I mean, Andre 3000 in terms of kind of flair and flavor, and just kind of, you know, not being confined to any particular style. You know,
Yeah.
Most Def. I like how he vocalized a lot. You know, he was an MC's MC, but he would kind of throw a lot of melody in there as well. So those are kind of pillars for me stylistically, just because they, you know, they check all the boxes as far as a true MC, but they are comfortable with their voices enough to kind of go into some other, you know, styles.
Real artists. No, how most Def could sit around a table and just go with like the top MC, like, well, any of that, Andre, like all of them, to be honest, like they're all amazing. Like, and that's the shit I want to create. Right. And that's why we do this. You know, we love hip hop. We want to contribute to this great culture we have here. And I used to love when the library, when we would have just a random beat playing, one of our beats, or it could be random too.
Yeah.
And you would just start flowing off the top, like that shit excites me, bro. You don't have, I mean, I'm sure you do. It's like because you do it. You know what I mean? That's why we do it.
Yeah, I think the thing that was dope about Music Room was just, you know, because over the years there's been periods of time where I would freestyle a lot more than others, but a lot of my time up here in Slow, just not really being around a lot of other MCs. I definitely have dry spells, you know. So like the vibe of the Music Room, like when the energy's there and the people are there, then I'm all about it, you know. But if it's like running into somebody random on the street, and sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, you're a rapper, like rap," and if they have no real, I don't know. Sometimes that energy, it's hard to just kind of snap on.
It's a back and forth. You know what I mean? Like if someone's there to contribute. And you can play off of them, then, you know, why not? Fuck yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah, the Music Room was dope for that, because, the beats were always fire, and you had people in the room that were kind of, the energy was there.
Just willing to give it up.
Yeah.
And take it, too, at the same time. Okay. So, after that, do you have any projects coming out anytime soon?
Yes, this Friday? Yeah, I guess technically Saturday, but
oh, shit.
Number 5. So I did the Year the Jumpman Wild TJ 1 through 5 this fall. So 4 came out last Friday, I think, or 2 Fridays ago.
Perfect. Dope. Check it out, people.
And then the Wild TJ 5.
And where can we find those?
All streaming platforms.
Okay. Just look up Risko.
Yep, Risko. Spotify, Apple Music, everything.
Okay, perfect.
YouTube Music. And then other than that, I got a couple others in the chamber, honestly. Me and my homie Lamore from Cause Effects, or The Cause. We have been sitting on a lot of songs.
Hell yeah.
A lot of them kind of developed while we were putting out a lot of singles within under the Cause name, Kauz. So that's kind of remaining members of what used to be Cause Effects. So this is kind of goes back to like 2007, 2008, 2009.
Damn.
And then kind of, you know, into the 2000 teens.
Yeah.
But Lamore was one of the primary MCs of that group, and he's still around. So, yeah, we've compiled a lot of songs with just us two, with production by Evol and Epic. And I think I might have a couple on there as well.
Hell yeah.
So that'll be really dope. We're trying to wrap that up. I mean, it's pretty much there, so we'll kind of wrap that up. We'll try to drop that early in the new year, and then I'm starting another project with my cousins, another group. I'm in Impossible Object.
Yeah.
We dropped
I saw that.
We dropped our first album last just over a year ago, off the ground, and it's different. It's kind of hip hop rooted, you know, in terms of production style, and vocals are. There's a lot of rap on there, but there's a lot of melody, and the whole energy behind that project is just kind of completely undefined, you know?
Yeah.
We kind of have our go-to workflows, things that we've developed, excuse me, in the formation of that first album, but I think our philosophy is just kind of have a general idea of what we, you know, type of songs that we want to make, but in terms of, you know, instrumentation and mix style, kind of letting the song develop, and as ideas come, and we try things, and kind of we'll take an idea and try it to an extreme almost, and then kind of pull back to where we feel like it suits the mix of the song. So
dial it in.
We're always kind of like saying like serve the mix, So some songs will kind of get bigger or kind of stay a little more minimal and dynamic, just depending on how it takes shape subject wise.
Yeah.
And kind of let them find the kind of sonic realm that they need to.
See, I love how like diverse you are. Like you could literally be freestyling to the hardest 90s beat and then go into some melody and it's wild because you don't expect that. I mean, usually like people are like one trick ponies, but to see artists here on the coast that can do that, you know what I mean, like switch up and it'd be great. Like I love.
Thank you, man.
People love seeing that. You know what I mean? Not just me, but like, the crowds build because if you have the talent and people are gonna notice, they're gonna want to see it again and again.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's why our artists become our favorite artists. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man. Yeah, I think playing with the band for so long with Word Sauce, the melody is something that I kind of naturally got more comfortable with.
Yeah.
And over the years with them, I think a lot of our followers and fans out here on the Central Coast were so used to me rapping all the time that when I started to introduce melody, a lot of people were like, I want to hear more singing. And as a young MC, I was kind of like, I was stoked to hear good feedback. And obviously that's always nice having validation, I guess, especially kind of getting out of my comfort zone. But it also kind of made me like, now I want to rap more, I'm an MC first. So anyway,
I feel you.
Fast forward to now, almost 20 years now, 18, 19 years making music. I kind of just, I've had periods of time where I focused on one thing or another.
Yeah.
Whether it was being more technical with bar structure or having stronger punchlines or, spend, some weeks, months, sometimes a year focusing on one particular aspect. And over the course of a career, I guess the hope is that you have a well-rounded style. So
sharpen that sword.
Yeah, sharpen the sword. So I like where I am now in terms of just comfortability with not feeling like I need to be hyper selective with leaving one style out for a given project. It's kind of more just to go back to what's the song at hand and what does it call for.
Okay.
So it's nice to have those things to pull from.
So this is kind of just off the cuff question, but so when you hear a beat, how do you start writing to it?
That's evolved, I think.
Or when there's no beat. Let's say there's no beat. When you're creating a song, you know what I mean? Like you say you're with the band.
Yeah.
Someone makes a bass line, or how does that work exactly?
Well, with the band versus with me, if I'm writing something on my own, it's different. Mm-hmm. A lot of times with the band, it would be, a guitar riff first, or a key, or, a chord progression on the keys first. But I think if I'm just kind of going about my week and I have an idea, a lot of times if a melody comes into my head, then I'll do a voice memo. If it's kind of just a concept for a song title, I have a list of like song titles, and
you just ready to slap on. Okay.
It's just like, like on this album, Heavy Bounce. Like one day I was just cruising, I was like, man, heavy bounce. Like I thought of a certain type of song. I was like, I'll just put that down in my notes.
Okay.
And if it's not something like kind of straightforward or self-explanatory, then I'll do a little parentheses and kind of explain to myself what I meant, what I was thinking in that moment.
Okay.
So if I have an instrumental that I'm gonna write to, I'll play that instrumental and kind of like play it pretty loud, try to feel what it is that the instrumental is kind of saying, and then I'll go down my list. At this point, I have probably over 100, 150. Just kind of title ideas, and I'll just kind of scroll down, and while that's happening, I might be kind of developing some type of cadence in my head. Yeah. And sometimes it'll just kind of like click with what I'm, the titles that I'm reading. So I'll just kind of look at one and be like, oh, boom, heavy bounce, that works on this beat. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I get it. You're just mixing and matching, see what works.
Yeah. So it can happen any. I just have like different catalysts, and depending on, depending on if am starting with the subject matter first and then find a beat for that, or if I have the beat and I need to find the subject. It does, it can start from different angles. But
Yeah.
I've tried to create little systems for sparks,
Yeah.
little like starter logs
Okay.
for a session, so that when I carve out the time and the space to create, to write and record, I'm not just kind of trying to get momentum going out of nowhere. I just trying to capture these little sparks throughout my day, throughout the week, so that when I have that time to actually, see an idea through, I have little starters, little catalysts.
Yeah. See, I like that insight because I struggle with that too. Just like being creative in the moment when you're actually trying to be creative. It gets difficult sometimes. So it's good to know, like, yeah, why wouldn't you just save them up?
Yeah.
I mean, we're all looking at our phone 24/7 anyway. Like,
yeah,
that's a good idea.
It took me a long time to get to even be open to the idea of using my phone for that process, because I still like to write in my notepad.
Yeah, of course.
And I'll always do that because I enjoy the process of writing, with a nice pen, and I like writing on paper.
Yeah.
But for a long time, I would if I was at work or something and I knew I wasn't gonna be able to write then and there, I would try to just lock the thought away.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've lost a lot of ideas to that kind of stubbornness instead of being. And now, eventually, I was just like, no, just pull out the voice memo and just kind of hum it out, or just write the idea down. You don't need to write the verse. Just kind of that way you can come back to it. So
yeah,
it's helped me a lot.
Okay. I love it. See, that was good. Good insight right there.
So,
okay, so the next one I have for you, we are on the coast, Central Coast, California. Do you name 3 artists you fuck with on the coast that either inspire you, or
how far on the coast are we talking?
Well, see, someone told me we're all the way from I would say no, Oxnard's kind of their own thing, I would say.
Yeah, well.
So let's say Lompoc Slow. So that's kind of where we do all that.
Slow.
Yeah.
Well, and then I'll do some honorable mentions.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll start from outside in, Cap K, Contra. I've known for 12 years now, I think.
Yeah.
I met him when I moved back from Slow, and I was up in Slow for a couple of years, and I moved back to Ventura County.
Oh, really? You were down there for a bit?
I'm from Ventura County.
Okay, for sure.
Born in Camarillo, grew up in Ojai.
Oh shit, dude.
So I met Cap K, Contra, when I moved back down there.
Yeah.
And kind of a crazy story on how we met, but just the skill level and just always kind of, you talk about sharpening your sword. When I started rocking with him, it was always we'd be going to the liquor store to get beef jerky and beer or whatever, to go back to his dojo, and he'd be like, boom, beat, freestyle, you're freestyling, we're doing 4s, we're doing 8s, okay, now do a 16,
damn,
just and he, to this day, he still does that. Darkroom, I pulled up on one of their rehearsals or their studio nights about a month and a half ago, and same thing, he's still he just keeps it sharp, so
that's good.
Yeah, and he translates to record really well. He tracks really well, he writes really well. He's really honed in on melodic flows. Yeah. So super fire. Another one, Owl Gordon out in Santa Cruz. We did a show with him. Word Sauce did when we were on tour. I don't know if it was our first or second tour. Probably our second. But yeah, I've known about him for a while because one of my homies, Deep Sea, who is from Ojai, he and I have a few albums from early 2008, 9, 10, around, I think we did one in 12 and then another one when I got back from college. But he lived out in Santa Cruz and he's like, hey, you should check out this dude, Owl Gordon. Yeah. Anyway, so I've been following him for a long time and he's just been so consistent over the years. And so I really admired his kind of work ethic, and he just pumps out, consistent, good music, has a good sound. Yeah. And just kind of real life bars, honest shit. And so Alwa's been dope. Shout out Alwa in Santa Cruz. Out here, it's been good to see. I mean, when I first moved up here, there was a lot of cats. Public Defenders was they were still doing a lot of any major hip hop show that would come through, they were opening those shows. So there's a lot of talented MCs around then. like Octopus Dre and EI back then, and Royal. Those cats were I always liked their styles. And moving here, I was like a 18, 19-year-old and seeing an actual scene, because where I came from in Ojai, there was none at all.
Yeah.
There was a couple bands, but nothing, no hip hop, So those cats, Nigel from the AOB was a crew back then as well.
Hell yeah. See, I almost need to like spend a day with you and you just show me like all this fucking history that the coast actually has. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of it's lost to the younger generation that doesn't really get to.
Yeah, there's definitely a gap. There's the big gap from that period to now. Like obviously, James K is like my brother. We have Ojai roots and connections. So
dope.
I mean, I've been rocking with him for a long time. We haven't made that much music together, since we lived together, like in 2008, 2009.
Oh, wow.
But we're always in each other's corner. We're always bouncing, We've done a lot of shows together over the years. So we're like the whole long haul camp. I got love for all those guys for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. Feo so there was a crew Ziploc, like they have they're all spread out doing their own thing now, but there's a period of time where long haul was like making a lot of noise out here, kind of before they migrated to LA.
Yeah, definitely.
Long haul and then Ziploc, so they're kind of affiliate crews. But Headache, Nige, used to go by Prolix, Remy, man, all these guys. Yeah. Memory lane, but yeah, they're all still out there. Digi, like very, very talented producer, MC. I know he's been cooking some stuff too. He and I have kind of been playing a lot of phone tag trying to link up, but I think we might be hearing some things from him in the near future as well. So
dope.
Yeah, maybe a longer conversation in terms of the full history, but
no, yeah, for real.
I guess my kind of where I was going with that tangent is it's cool to see a lot of resurgence of just a little more energy out here as of the last, I guess, 18, 24 months. Connect the Coast has been pretty consistent, pushing a lot of stuff. So a lot of respect to them for the consistency and just like putting a lot of good energy out there and kind of giving young artists a platform. So that's how we kind of got into awareness with like Orchid Hill and those guys, and the Green Room Boys this is kind of their home base.
So good. They're so good.
Yeah. So we met Tommy a while back, and he kind of like interning here. Yeah. So nice. He's been able to get a lot of studio time. So met Garrick through him. Yeah. So I love what they're doing for sure. Sonically, definitely one of my favorites right now out here. So Garrick and I finally have got on a couple tracks together.
Hell yeah.
That'll be released soon.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, man, honestly, it's cool to see a lot more talent, and I think me being in my band focus for much of these years, it's a whole other energy. I think it's always the goal has always been to kind of carry the torch for hip hop out here, but stylistically, when you're making music that is kind of different genre and it's pretty undefined. Yeah. We're never like straightforward hip hop. We're never full jam band. So I think kind of just seeing that kind of process through and that development of the music we have made with Word Sauce, it kind of took some, probably a lot of focus of putting on shows and, there being just like more of a pure hip hop scene. So at least for me personally and the energy that I was able to put out. So the fact that it's kind of resurged recently, from all these other crews doing shit, it's been cool to kind of hop back into that mold and meet everybody that's been kind of coming up and making waves. And yeah, honestly, that was a kind of a push for me to get all the music that I just been kind of sitting on and throw my energy out there into that kind of pool. So yeah,
there's so much talent on the coast, man. Like, and people just, especially because we're next to LA, we're next to Oxnard, and the Bay is just not that far away too. Like, there's definitely this is a slept on area. You know what I mean? Yeah. And now that people are actually making noise and doing things and throwing shows and getting real recognition, getting on the radio, like it's crazy to see. Yeah. Right? And it's just gonna keep going and we're just gonna keep pushing it. You know what I mean? As hard as we can, as fast as we can.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be, kind of a lot of momentum, kind of communally kind of picking up,
Yeah, definitely.
I think, the music room, kind of towards the end of my time at library downtown, but I think even just the few that we hosted, I think that was like a nice catalyst. Guys kind of linking up, ABG getting beats to Garrick and some of these guys, and now
That was the catalyst. I didn't even think about that, but that was the catalyst.
And now getting my hands on some beats from Bobby and ABG is dope. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, I like it, man. I like it. I think people see each other putting stuff out and putting out good energy and, getting love at shows. And it kind of, that's kind of how a scene builds, right? So
definitely.
I think there's some good things ahead.
Community, man. Community is so important within hip hop because if we don't have it, then it's like, how are you going to push it forward without? No. Okay, we're good.
We're good.
We're good. That might be just giving me a warning, but okay, so that was good. So quick question. What do you do in your free time?
I do love the golf, but I haven't really been golfing much.
You golf, bro?
Yeah.
Dude.
Over COVID,
hell yeah.
I got deep into the golf bug.
That's dope.
Yeah, and I got, fairly decent.
I've only been on one course, but I've gone to the range, Yeah.
To
just my one of my uncles used to take me. It's so fun. There's just a little release,
It's addicting. It's peaceful.
Oh yeah.
But it's time consuming and it can be expensive.
Oh yeah, I bet.
I think part of why I got was playing so much for a couple of years was that I had kind of hookups here and there, so I was able to golf on the low, which makes a big difference.
See, look, we did run out. Hold on. Oh, what are you saying? We have 2 minutes left. Oh, because that's why. I don't need this.
Do a quick dump?
No, I don't. I just need it's dying on me. That's what it's saying. But we can do that, and then we can finish the last 2 questions, and that would be good.
We good?
Yeah, we're good.
Oh,
we'll
yes.
just let it record. Start recording real quick. We're back into it. We were talking about golfing.
Yeah, so golf, if I could golf more, I would like that, but,
There's a couple ranges here in Flow, right?
There's some good courses out here, but, it's time consuming, like I said. So I've really been on a trajectory this year with just increasing my productivity and kind of streamlining my workflow. So a big part of that for me is fitness and getting my body right.
Yeah,
and
of course. Really
like getting my sleep better. I've struggled with my health over the years, bartending for 9 years, and that's a real kind of battle, like
demanding.
Just with weekly routine, because the schedule is kind of, it's appealing at first because you have a lot of free time, in theory.
Yeah.
But getting into management and all that shit, it comes with a lot of extra bullshit. So,
I'm sure.
Balancing that sleep and alcohol intake and all that can really start to seep into your productive hours. So free time, I try to minimize it, honestly, is what I've been doing. I've been trying to have more structure and schedule, have more of a routine. So incorporating like more wellness and more kind of fitness into my schedule. So, right now I'm only DJing, so no more bartending. So I'm DJing, gig income. So it's similar to a bar schedule, but I'm able to stay much more in my own flow.
You create your own schedule, so.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And, I show up to the venue, I play, I can leave. It's not as, I don't have to deal with as many, I guess, other factors of scheduling people and covering shifts and all that stuff. It's kind of me. So it's easier to keep my own schedule intact. So, yeah. So having like my mornings and stuff, I have kind of settled into a nice routine. I like to hit the sauna and try to get some cold plunges in throughout the week. And
shit, you do those too, dude?
Yeah.
Damn.
So
hell yeah.
So a perfect morning for me is kind of, I've been trying to read more, so get some reading in. Hit a sauna, cold plunge into a workout, and then early afternoon get back to my house. Have a light lunch, and that's like now I'm ready for optimum studio flow. Body feels good. It's like I've got some energy out. I feel clear mentally and kind of focused. So Yeah. So that's a productive day. So
I didn't realize how important it is. Like you need to feel good to be able to create good. You know what I mean? But yeah, especially coming to the studio and just having an open mind and getting your workout in or getting whatever exercise you do and just feeling good about the day. Productive. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like. My sleep's been fucked up lately too. I mean, I have kids too, so it's hard. But
yeah.
and then trying to do all this and then working freaking 40 hours. But yeah, it's difficult to get those hours in. You know what I mean? And just be rested and then having the balance of being productive at the same time. It's a bitch.
Sleep is big. I did not value it in my 20s, but I've learned.
I bet it gets you, man.
Yeah,
it fucking gets you. Okay, let's see. I think I have like one or two more questions for you, and then we'll get you out of here. But or you'll get me out of here actually. But let's see. So why do you make music?
Why do I make music?
This kind of
This is something I've been, kind of asking myself recently, just to kind of stay focused on, because I've been trying to come up with like a marketing strategy, right? So kind of just reminding myself of the reasons why I've been making music all this time. And honest answer is I make music because it helps me. It's helped me as a young adult. It came in as a teenager. It came into my life at a time when everything that I had kind of planned on doing or thought I was going to do after high school, I wanted to play football. So as I saw that kind of dream crumbling and just not really going how I planned, music kind of came right in, and I felt a way that I felt, when I was at my healthiest, playing my best football. So that was I feel really lucky. I'm grateful for that. Just knowing that that's what I wanted to do. Had no idea what that was going to mean or look like. So answer is I make music because it's, it just helps me process everything in this life. It gives me purpose. And
cathartic.
What's that?
Cathartic.
It's cathartic. Yeah. So, it's, it's creative expression. I'm from a family of, all my siblings are creative. So I think in a sense that it's in my blood, really. It's in my DNA to be creative. Yeah. And music is the outlet that I found with words. I've always enjoyed writing. I think I was a bit of a loudmouth as a kid, so it kind of makes sense, that I chose rap.
Yeah. Was there anything creatively you did before you started making music?
I used to like to draw a lot, like my two older brothers are very, they're great. They're amazing artists. So, I mean, that was always an activity that we would do in the house growing up. My mom would sit us down with colors and colored pencils, like Prisma colored pencils. You always wanted those for Christmas.
It was a fire back then.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, great. So things like that. Yeah, visual art for sure. Definitely. And I got an ear for music pretty early,
Yeah.
I just remember, there's a nostalgia to it, but I just remember a lot of little formative moments in my childhood around music. My mom singing. My mom had a big voice. She's from a very musical family.
Yeah.
Big choir and.
Oh, dope.
So yeah, my mom singing and her playing. My mom liked a lot of like soul music, so she grew up in Pasadena. So when we would go down to Pasadena to visit my grandparents, once we got kind of towards LA County, and you could get KRS 101 on the radio.
Yeah,
I talk about it in one of my songs on the Journey Part 1 on the YOTJ 3, I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah, like getting little bits and pieces of different styles of music. In the house it was a lot of classical, and my dad would play a lot of Beatles and watch the Monkees show on Nick at Night, so kind of like a lot of that era.
Yeah.
But then when we go down to Pasadena, you're getting to KRS 101, and now I'm hearing Supremes and Diana Ross and more soul, Al Green and stuff like that. So getting little bits and pieces of different genres and kind of experiencing how those different sounds and styles made me feel, and things some resonating with me more than others, just for some reason, that I at that time couldn't put my finger on. And then later on, junior high, starting to catch glimpses of hip hop and kind of hearing those samples from the songs that I was hearing as a kid.
Yep.
it was all this kind of big mystery world to me, you know, because like I said, I never grew up around hip hop culture really. I kind of had to find my way to it, you know, or it found me, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was fascinating to me. You know, nobody really had broken it down for me. Like, oh yeah, like this is what sampling is. Like I wasn't, you know, I didn't have like uncles or my older brothers weren't old enough to be like, kind of put me on game in that way. Like, yeah, this is Pete Rock. He uses an MPC and he samples records. Like I didn't know any of that shit.
Yeah.
So that took time. You know, I was a little late to the game, or later than I would have liked to have been. But you know, I think the looking back on how things happened is, you know, I cherish it because it's my story and it's my relationship with music, and it's unique to me, and yeah, it makes you look back on moments and give them their true weight in terms of who you are and what you become and all that, and kind of like being able to understand why, like have more understanding now of why they were so important at the time, and I didn't even know, you know, things like
gravity.
That. Yeah.
Man, I think that's a place to leave off, to be honest.
Sweet.
Like that was, I have a couple more, but you know, actually, you know, we're just gonna remember we have a show.
Yeah.
29th January.
27th. Yeah.
27th.
27th. Right.
I have the 29th on here. It'd probably be the 27th.
Well, we'll get back on that. We'll confirm that.
I'll put it. You'll see it in the notes.
Whatever the flyer says.
Yeah, we're doing promos. It's fine. It's the second one we've ever done, so give us some slack here.
Maybe I'll come on the 27th, and if the show's not till the 29th, I'll just hang out.
Yeah, you'll just stay there. Just be a hobo for a couple of days.
I'll play some golf at La Purísima.
Ooh, yeah, you're right. But yeah, Slompoke, I on I. We will be there 6 to 9, getting down. It's gonna be a bunch of dope artists, couple beat sets, 2 really dope artists, Risko and Agent Ahante, and it's gonna be cool, man.
Do you know how long my set is?
Your set, I mean, it's really up to you, but it can be up from 15 to 30.
Sweet.
We have plenty of time because there's not so many artists on this one.
We'll try to figure out a nice selection of, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hit all the marks. Yeah.
But no, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a great show.
Excited.
Come out, enjoy it. We're gonna have a couple vendors there. Great food. I is reopening on the 5th of January, so we're all excited for that. It's like one of our favorite venues. And but yeah, thank you, man. This was dope.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
I love the spot. You know, super excited to come again and just check it out, and we'll vibe and try to make some music and shit. And
I'm down, man.
It's gonna be cool.
Anytime.
I got some beats already. You know,
I'm already knowing. I know you guys got a lot stored away.
Yeah, definitely. We try. Me more. I mean, ABG and Bobby just dropped like a 16 track beat tape, and bro, it's so good. We were listening to it the other day. ABG too. We listened to his last night, and they're both amazing. Yeah. So check them out. Check Risko out. All platforms. Risko.
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. Thank you, brother.
All right, peace.
All right. Perfect. Cherry. So yeah.